Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're back at the Battle Report game, this time with a game from the bridge of Tier VI British aircraft carrier HMS Furious. Now, the running joke within Kraken Clan is that Furious is not just the name of the ship, it's how you feel when you play the ship. A lot of players consider Furious to be the weakest of the Tier VI aircraft carriers, and there's some justification for that feeling. But over the course of this game, I'm hoping to demonstrate to you maybe why some of that feeling is misplaced. So let's get to it. We start off, of course, with the rocket planes, as you tend to do in these mid-tier games, fishing for an enemy destroyer, and I accidentally stumble across this guy who's barely getting his engines moving early on, and, yeah, don't get a whole lot out of it, but, oh well. He's got a lot of buddies, and they're very close, so I don't stick around for that engagement very long. I spawn way over here on the northeastern corner of Trident, and I want to initially get behind this island for some cover for my hull. But the trick is that the autopilot, CV's autopilot, is still in really, really bad shape. Near islands, near map borders, it will completely crap itself and have no idea what it's doing. So there for about 10, 15, 20 seconds, I manually maneuver my hull just to make sure that I can get that turn off. I grabbed the torpedo bombers. This might be a bit of a mistake, but one of the things as a CV early on, particularly in, well, just about any tier game, really, is that you're going to find that most enemy ships are clumped up enough that you're going to struggle to land really good strikes. You kind of have to rely on one or more destroyers to get way out ahead of the pack to get rocket strikes off. If they pull their engines up, if they run at half or three-quarter speed and hang with their team, you're gonna have a hard time getting off more than one rocket strike on them early. In this instance, I've grabbed the torpedo bombers, hoping to maybe pick on a fat battleship, and I've kind of found one here in this Queen Elizabeth who's, well, maybe a little broken off from the pack. He's still got some friends, but he's a little isolated over here, kind of on the 8 line, so I figure, what the heck, let's give this a shot. I probably might have been better served if you look on the minimap by going for that New Mexico down on the 6 line instead, because that way I wouldn't have driven through all of these AA bubbles on my way out with this strike. I don't get much out of the Kiwi strike, and I take a stern attempt at this Budione here, but no, neither one of those goes anywhere. So very early on, I'm not exactly playing this ship very well. I mean, so far this is not something you can blame the ship for. This is operator error. About 3 minutes in, I start kind of looking at the team disposition on the minimap, and you can kind of get a sense now. Look at where we are. I'm on the 8 line. What's over here? There's me, a Pensacola, an Ismail, and this Fubuki, and that's it. Every other ship on my team is essentially steaming for the A-cap. So I decide at this point I'm going to end up playing a much longer game of kiting. You can see there I've turned my engines back on, I've rearranged my autopilot, I'm running up for the A-line, I'm going to use that little channel in about A5 to kind of keep heading west and maybe cover my retreat, and continue to throw planes to my south down around the C-cap just to see what I can do, see if I can help my team over here escape with those ships, but I don't know, we'll just see. I grabbed the torpedo bombers again. Again, you see there the Queen Elizabeth kind of all by himself here in between the B and the C cap, and that I decide is going to be my goal. I'm sorry, these are not torpedo bombers, these are the dive bombers. So I'm angling now to try and get a bow-on run here with these dive bombers, because of course the British bombers are like the kind of the carpet bombers, the level bombers, right? Start my run here, and he's burning a little bit, so I don't know what I'm going to get out of the fires. But I do get some good pins on this guy. There you see 7 pins, nearly 10,000 damage out of that run. You can get good work out of these bombers, but you do have to kind of make sure you pick the right target. I'm kind of accidentally set up for a run on this low-health Budione as I come out of my run on the Queen Elizabeth, so I line this up and take this shot. He gets his engines running, starts maneuvering. Cruisers are a little tougher, narrower targets, and I only land a couple of these for a fire and maybe about 3k. He survives that, of course, and puts that fire right out. But now that I know where the enemy Vestatus is, I grab the rocket planes again. And I'm also in the back of my mind, I'm also realizing that I've got a bit of a target of opportunity over there in that Budione as well. He's low, and these rockets will do good work against a light cruiser. Most rockets at almost any aircraft carrier tier will do good work against enemy light cruisers given the opportunity. This Viserys is eventually going to gun down this friendly Fubuki. I'm trying to kind of give him a hand here, give this Viserys something else to think about, maybe slap him around a little bit, but he's dead bow on, and yeah, I don't get a great run. I do get the big reset, which is what I was really angling for right before he capped. We managed to get a nice reset in on him. And I have to pull the brakes here, but I do get another run in on the Budioni with those planes before I pull them out as well. So that run I'm particularly proud of, just because it was an efficient use of the time and the planes themselves, right? I didn't waste a lot of time over the target. 2 quick runs, in and out, a little bit of damage, a few resets, and got on with my day. Now, with the Fubuki and the Ismail dead, basically it's me and this Pensacola. We have to basically just keep running, kiting these guys, trying to get them off the board. I initially grabbed the torpedo bombers, but I thought better of it. I cycled them back to the deck and went back and grabbed the dive bombers instead. I look at the Budioni. The Budioni has only 2,800 HP. The torpedoes are more valuable spent elsewhere, in my opinion. So I grabbed the dive bombers thinking, all right, these guys are a little more expendable. And you see the enemy carrier trying to come up here and harass my Pensacola. So I leave him some fighter cover off his bow, hoping to contribute. Now, I'm not going to be able to stop the initial strike. Pretty much nothing will stop that. However, those fighters will pick up those rocket planes on their way out of their first strike and do some work there, kill a few of those guys off, and, you know, give me a chance to help my team. Pensacola was doing some good work on this Budioni, down to 970 HP. I'm continuing to spot this Budioni for the Pepsi, and I'm going to try and get in a bomb run as he gets one more shell salvo in right here. Misses, but my bombs do not miss for kill number 1.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
That feels pretty good. Kind of a kill secure thing. That's something that carriers are really good at. And one of the things that when you play a carrier, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to is looking for opportunities, places that you can send your planes somewhere that your enemy, your friendlies either can't see or can't go to secure kills on low health ships. That is a key function of aircraft carriers in World of Warships. With the torpedo, I grabbed the torpedo bombers briefly there, but then I saw the B cap was ticking up, and that's my old buddy, the Viserys. So we grabbed the rocket planes again, and we're going to go hunting. Now, we know the Viserys was last in sea, so my thought process as I'm coming into this is I'm expecting to find him on the eastern edge of the cap circle. I do not know where he is, and he's probably clever enough to keep his AA turned off so that I won't be able to find him in time to get a good run off. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens. I start an attack run expecting to find him on this edge of the cap, but he surprises me. There he is, right smack dab in the middle. And once the run is engaged, I cannot get turned around in time to get rockets on him. He turns his AA on right here, and between him and the Bayern, I'm going to lose a couple planes just trying to get reoriented. I am eventually going to get a strike off on this guy. He and I are going to be playing this little cat and mouse game most of the game, and Tier 6 carriers against these EU destroyers, this is what's going to happen, right? Their AA is not enough to deter you, but it's enough to cost you planes, and the heals give them a longevity that almost no other destroyer at Tier 6 can match, and they're really irritating. Quick run on that guy, and I take a quick run on the Baron, hoping to pick up a fire on my way out, and sure enough, we get a few pens and a fire on his superstructure before I pull those planes out. Now, the Viserys retreating, you see there's a Perth, a New Mexico, and a Bayern kind of working the DE line, 6-7 there, kind of on the north side of the B cap, in the gap between B and C. And I'm still trying to salvage this Pensacola. This Pensacola's been playing a great game. I still want to try and keep him alive. So I'm going to take these torpedo bombers back and see if I can't harass these guys that are bothering him, bothering my teammate, to see what I can do. The Perth is trying to smoke up here, but it looks like this guy doesn't really quite get how Perth works. He's continuing to move at full speed for the moment until he sees my planes coming in, and then he begins to slow down. So I start the run back here at about 6 clicks, like you do, and he pulls the handbrake and disappears literally right in front of me. But I managed to get some torpedoes into the water and guess decently, and we are going to bag a couple of nice hits on this guy. Now, I lined this run up really well to get another run on the Bayern here with torpedoes, but I completely blew the second drop, and I get nothing out of it. I'm behind him, actually. I needed to come more to starboard or slow down more or something. So it's one of those, you're really proud of yourself for a moment. Yeah, I put 2 torpedoes into the Perth, and then you blew kind of the easy drop, like, I suck at this game. I grab the dive bombers, knowing now that I've put 2 torpedoes into the Perth, he's going to be a little beat up. I know his AA is not amazing, and I also know he put his catapult fighter up right as I was leaving that last strike. So it's not going to be up for too much longer. There he is. You see him now below half health, and his catapult fighter doing its thing, but it's probably only got another 15-20 seconds to run. I'm willing to risk it here. Let's get in here with the level bombers and see if we can get some more work on this guy. You can see there the catapult fighter landing right back on his deck. We do get some of these bombs into the water, but he maneuvers nicely. I only get 2 out of it, and the fire is going to stick for a little bit, but I'm not going to get tons of work out of it because my team is eventually going to finish him off here in just a little bit. I don't know that yet, though, so I grab the rockets. Why? Because light cruiser. I figure low light cruiser, rockets are perfect, but team takes care of it, so I cycle those back to the deck and reach for the torpedo bombers. Now, if you've been paying attention, if you look at the minimap, that New Mexico, up on the CD line there, and about C6 or so, he is all by his lonesome. And that means he's a perfect target for me to harass with my planes. 11 minutes into this game, we had a 4-ship lead a moment ago. The enemy just bagged a kill. They're about to bag another right there with the Budioni going down. So with their cap control now, that's a lead change. You see it there at the top of the map. So we're now trailing. We're still up on ships, but we're now down on points and continuing to fall behind because of the Vestaris and that B cap earlier. For the moment, my focus is this New Mexico. I want to beat this guy around a little bit. And what's going to happen is I get some really good torpedo. I'm particularly proud of this particular run of torpedo drops. Torpedoes and I sometimes don't get along, right? But over the course of this next couple of drops, I'm going to land 5 torpedoes on this guy. And the only reason I don't land 6 is because he actually shoots down one of my planes on the very, very last run before I can get the torpedo into the water. So I get 5 out of the 6, all 5 planes that survive to drop land torpedoes on this guy. But his torpedo protection is decent enough, and these aerial torpedoes are anemic enough. I only do about maybe 10-12,000 damage to him. He heals most of that back. And it's just, it feels terrible. I got a flood on that first torpedo, but I'm never able to get another one. And because, why? Flood chance on aircraft carrier torpedoes is artificially deflated for balance reasons. It makes total sense. But it is frustrating at times. So I get some good damage into him, right? But I don't manage to get any good long-lasting damage. I grab the level bombers. Again, I want to harass this guy a little bit longer. We've got a friendly Bayern. You see him there off to my left as I'm sending this squadron over. His position is questionable, but this Bayern was also beat up really bad earlier. He was down to about 2,000-3,000 HP. He's rotated to the back of the map so he can heal up and stay out of range of most things. And he's back here kind of harassing this New Mexico as well. My plan is, I know this New Mexico has used his damage control. I mean, that was, a little while ago now. So I'm thinking if I can get a couple of back-to-back decent bomb runs and light a fire on this guy, that's some more good damage. And hopefully make it easier for this Bayern to finish him off when the time comes. That's my thought process. But with the level bombers, I'm used to taking them in on faster targets. And one thing that American standard battleships are not is fast. They are not fast. So I actually overlead this bomb drop. You see, look, I'm going to land a couple on the very bow. Most of those I missed completely because I was coming, stern, doing it from stern to bow rather than bow to stern. I'm going to get another run in here. Try and line these up on his bow. I get a decent run here. We get a few pens, but I don't get the fires I'm looking for, unfortunately. And, well, it is what it is. So, at this point, with that Bayern on the A line kind of in close to that guy, I decide, enough of that. We got bigger problems. Let's start looking at the middle of the map where they've managed to park 2 battleships while my team has kind of dithered around in A-cap. If you've been paying attention to the minimap most of the game, you've noticed that my whole team, I had 8 or 9 ships, all went to the A-cap. They all got into the A-cap. They capped A, and then they kind of just chilled out for a while. We let the enemy team have B, and then we let them get some kills and get back into the game to where now they have nearly a 200-point lead as we're getting on to the last 5 minutes of this game.
Engaging enemy.
These battleships in the middle of the map are not moving that quickly, so I grab the torpedo bombers coming out for this Bayern here. But again, I badly misjudge his speed. This drop right here, I blow completely. I think he's not moving all that fast, but in truth, his engines are spooling up to full speed. Both of those torpedoes are going to fall behind him, and I'm going to get bupkis out of that run. So, frustrated with myself, now that I know where the Vestaris is once again, I just cycle those bombers back to the deck, I grab the rockets, and we're going to go destroyer hunting again. For as much time and energy that I've spent on this Vistatus this game, he's still at about 3/4 HP. He's playing a really good game. But again, that's the strength of these mid-tier EU destroyers, right? Their AA gives them a little bit of punch, but it's really the heal that gives them longevity, as long as they don't find themselves in, compromised by enemy cruisers or in too many gunfights with enemy destroyers. Still working a 2-ship lead here, but still down on points. About 130 points here with 4.5 minutes to play. Pop up the Vistaris right here. I managed to slow down and get this strike off. This is actually one of my better strikes on him this game. I land about 6 of these rockets, I think. 6 or 7? Yeah, 8 actually, for 3K, which is a really nice hit. He'll heal some of that back, but I'm going to do what I can here and flip around. I'm going to, see, he pops his heal there. I'm going to get at least one more run out of this squadron. Take a couple of casualties there, but he's not going to kill the second plane. I am going to get a full rocket strike off. Unfortunately, this one's not all that great. I do light a fire at least. Now, one of the things that I've done, I did about 60, 70 seconds ago with my carrier, was I was on the 2 line, way over here on the edge of the map, and I've decided to hell with it. We're going to have to get onto this B cap, and if they won't do it, I will. So my waypoints are set to drive my Furious to the north side of that island in the on the EF line in between the A and B cap, and then come into the top end of the B cap. And I'm focused on dumping planes into B to clear the way for me to get in there and sit on this cap circle. This Byron, once again, just kind of chilling out. He's mostly stationary. This is exactly what carriers are designed for. You're going to be stationary. I'm going to punish you. He just turns his engines on. But in the end, it's a little too late, as I am going to clip his stern with one of those torpedoes and pick him up as a kill. Now with a 4-ship lead, we've just flipped the score. There's still 3 minutes to play, and we've got to get on top of B. The Vistaris, you see there on the E line, headed over there that way. But I've got bigger problems. My old buddy, the enemy Vistaris that I've been rocketing all game, is now in my face. Now, I'm in a really good position here. It doesn't seem like it, but I do get one rocket strike off. My secondaries start going on, but more importantly, my buddy the Pensacola, that I went to all the effort to save earlier and protect and try to keep him in the game, does me a huge solid right there and bags a kill. This game, more than so many I play in mid-tier these days, was very, very much a team effort, right? Like, that Pensacola played a smashingly awesome game, saving his ship, salvaging his ship for as long as he did. And as I went out of my way to try to help him early, like, here's some fighter cover, and let's harass these guys that are shooting you from astern, and let's try and keep you in the game. And so now, finally, with this time ticking away, 2 minutes left on the timer, we are going to cap B. We have a 5-ship lead. The only surviving ship is the enemy Ranger. We're gonna win this game, but why drag it out, right? Let's get up here and find this Ranger. Our New Mexico down there, I go leave him some fighter cover because he's pretty low, and I figure he's a likely target for planes. The last spotted for the Ranger, you see there down on the I line. I'm going to go take a peek over this channel here and make sure that he's not hiding back here in this along the J line. It's common on Trident to see carriers go park behind those islands in, like, say, about J6 or A5. They like hiding in those little channels because they've got decent cover. Now, the trick there is that it only leaves you, it severely restricts the places you can go with your hull if you're trapped or caught back there. But other than that, it does give you good cover from surface ships. I figured this Ranger must be over on the 10 line somewhere. You saw that last kind of plane strike that he brought in on the New Mexico. And you see my fighters down there chasing. There we go, getting some kills, some late plane kills. They're chasing his rocket planes around. So he must be on the 10 line over here somewhere. You see, we catch sight of his bombers there landing. Yeah, he's up in front of me somewhere, moving north up the 10 line. I'll get eyes on him here in a moment. There he is. Now, I've got the dive bombers, which or the level bombers, I should say, which is actually a pretty good pick for dealing with an enemy carrier. Nice big flat deck. As long as I'm not trying to bomb an enemy Furious, I should be able to pen his deck. Right now, I'm just trying to keep him spotted, keep him lit. My team will be able to get shots on this Bayern over here off that Bayern that beat the New Mexico earlier is still around. We do manage to get some bombs onto his deck with 30 seconds to play. Get another 6,000-7,000 damage out of those, a couple of fires. Of course, he's a carrier. His DCP will put that out almost instantaneously as we wander into the middle of the board here, finally entering the B cap. He's going in on the Bayern. Now, this is a bit of a mistake right here at the very end. I should have immediately gotten some planes back in the air and sent some fighter cover over to this friendly Bayern, just because he could have eaten a torpedo, and that would have just, you know, a kill we didn't have to take. So that's on me. That's a lesson learned there to pay attention to those situations, especially in the late game. But all in all, a nice little game in HMS Furious. The Tier 6 carriers in general are honestly quite solid little ships that can contribute quite a bit when they are even tiered or even slightly up tiered. They really will struggle in Tier 8 games, but in Tier 6 or 7 games, they can be quite useful as long as you are continuing to cycle your planes, look for the opportunity target, you know, secure kills like I did with the Budioni early, and so on and so forth. They can make really good contributions and be great team ships. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. We're in the middle of running a Tier 6 carrier challenge in Kraken, so you're going to see some more Tier 6 carrier replays on the channel this week and next. Appreciate you watching. Be safe out there. Wash your hands, and I'll catch you next time.